Welcome to this free information session on understanding the first stage of menopause and how I use a dynamic meditation practice called sophrology to help with my self-care. You've probably found your way to this presentation because you are currently experiencing symptoms signifying changes going on in your body. And you are looking for ways to help you through this life stage. The key to our health is being well informed and open to learning some new things about ourselves. So, who am I exactly? My name is Diane Wood and I live in the UK with my husband and daughter. I am also a fully qualified sophrology practitioner specialising in online courses for menopause well-being, based on my years of personal experience and knowledge. More about what I do later. So, what's my story? I began perimenopause, the first stage of menopause, myself when I was around 40 and have been on quite a challenging yet enlightening journey so far. My story is sadly a common one for women approaching menopause. After several years of repeated trips to the doctors with increasingly challenging mood swings, I was feeling rather miserable and was given antidepressants and sent on my way. In my ignorance of women's health, my health, I thought these symptoms and my doctor's response meant I must have depression. What else could it be? Many women end up in this position, on medication for depression with no mention of menopause. Let's face it, we are all unintentionally ignorant when it comes to menopause, because we are given so little education in it, and it is still seen by many as a taboo, even shameful subject that mustn't be spoken of. I, like so many other women, thought it was something that I didn't have to think about until I was over 50, that one day my periods would stop and I'd have some hot sweats and be a bit grumpy, and that's it. So, as I said, my first inkling that something wasn't right was mood swings, which often happens to other women too. I've always had a noticeable change of mood before my monthly bleed as a symptom of PMS, but my mood became darker, more sensitive, lasted longer, and also was happening mid-cycle around the time of ovulation. But I was still having regular bleeds and was only in my early 40s. So why would it be anything to do with menopause, right? So what exactly does menopause mean? The actual word comes from ancient Greek, men meaning month, and pauin meaning to cease or stop. The medical definition for menopause is when we have not had a menstrual bleed for 1 calendar year. However, menopause doesn't just happen overnight. We may have many years prior to the actual menopause itself, when our bodies are having to adjust to fluctuating and an overall decrease in hormone levels. These declining levels then result in many possible associated symptoms. This time span before we have stopped our bleeds but are experiencing symptoms is known as perimenopause, or the menopausal transition stage. For some women, perimenopause can last for over 10 years. So it is essential to understand what is going on, to tune into our bodies and take action to help manage our journeys through this stage holistically. Clearly, many healthcare professionals still don't know enough about women's health. My doctor didn't mention the word perimenopause to me in any of those appointments throughout my 40s. When I mention the word to women now, many have also never heard of it or know what it means. So this clearly has to change. So, why do our hormone levels start dropping in the first place? Our ovaries are the epicenter of estrogen production in our bodies. The hormone estrogen's role is to promote the development of an egg in the first part of the menstrual cycle, so levels are higher at this time. This production of estrogen is itself triggered by the two control hormones, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and LH, luteinizing hormone. FSH and LH work to signal to the ovaries to produce the right amounts of estrogen and release an egg from the ovarian follicles, which are little sacs within our ovaries. So the control hormones signal to produce estrogen and release the egg. However, as we age, there are less active follicles left to be stimulated by the control hormones. So the ovaries become less responsive and therefore produce less estrogen. The hormone progesterone normally kicks in and levels rise straight after ovulation to prepare the uterus for either a pregnancy or a withdrawal bleed. Progesterone works in a delicate balance with the estrogen. So when there is less estrogen in the body, progesterone production reduces accordingly. And our monthly bleeds, therefore, change. The average age for the onset of perimenopause is currently 47.5 years in the UK, but associated symptoms can appear up to a decade before bleeds finally stop, often without women realising what is going on. So, what are the most common symptoms to look out for in the years before menopause? Many women first notice that their periods are changing. They may be more irregular, heavier or lighter than usual. There may be intermenstrual spotting too. Progesterone has a key role each month in preparing the line of the uterus for possible pregnancy. So less progesterone means less uterine lining tissue for the body to get rid of every month. So often a lighter or even non-existent bleed. Conversely, heavy bleeding can be caused by the declining estrogen levels, with some women struggling for a time with very heavy flooding, which can be very hard to manage both practically and emotionally. As previously mentioned, mood swings are also a very common symptom, with perimenopausal women statistically more prone to depression and anxiety. Hot flushes are the most common symptom, with more than 2/3 of menopausal women experiencing them. They can also be accompanied by night sweats, where you sweat so much that you wake up dripping wet. Sleep problems are also a common symptom at a time when we need good sleep more than ever. Night sweats, anxiety, aches and pains can all contribute to a lousy night's sleep, which in turn can lead to fatigue, memory problems and brain fog. Declining hormone levels can cause muscular and/or joint pain, with some women experiencing something called restless leg syndrome. This leads to laying in bed at night, unable to get comfortable, unable to settle, constantly fidgeting, and therefore unable to sleep. Nightmares and/or racing thoughts can also be frequent for those who are feeling low or anxious, causing interrupted sleep. I've just mentioned brain fog and memory issues. Some women, when they first experience this symptom, feel so completely shaken up and confused by the profound changes that they worry they may even have early onset dementia. It can change a previously confident, organised woman into a confused, forgetful person who struggles with everyday tasks. Words struggle to come to mind when we're talking. We lose everyday objects in the weirdest places. We forget information minutes after we've been given it. We can't think clearly or make decisions easily. This symptom can be particularly hard when you have a demanding job, high-level career and family to juggle. It's linked to the drop in progesterone, as this in turn affects our ability to sleep well and maintain our mood levels. It affects around 2/3 of menopausal women. Some women's sex lives are also noticeably affected by menopause as a result of a loss of libido, vaginal dryness, and maybe body image issues if they have gained weight or have more wrinkles than before. Urinary weakness is another fantastic symptom for us to deal with. There is estrogen contained within our urinary tracts, so when it decreases, so does the reliability of function in this area, leading to a leaky bladder. The truth is, there are so many possible symptoms of perimenopause, including excess facial hair, hair loss, worsening of allergies, our skin drying and becoming more prone to wrinkles, bones becoming less dense and more likely to develop osteoporosis, jaw pain and/or grinding teeth getting worse, weight gain and bloating, tinnitus, and so on. However, I emphasize possible symptoms. Remember, you will not have all these symptoms. Some women have only a few, and they can vary a lot over time. The reason it is important to deal with menopause holistically is that there are many possible symptoms, but also many different ways to alleviate and manage them. So, what can we do? Doing all we can to maintain good physical and mental health is essential to minimise the impact. So, eating a balanced diet, getting regular exercise, having enough good quality sleep if we can, and spending some time outdoors are all helpful. Taking supplements can help with particular symptoms, so it may be worth consulting a qualified herbalist or naturopath for advice. Magnesium spray, for example, can help with aches and restless leg syndrome. For those with very low libido, taking testosterone has proven helpful. Testosterone is normally produced in small amounts by our ovaries, so women need it too. Vaginal dryness and urinary weakness can be treated using topical medications, often containing estrogen, as the reduced level of this hormone has triggered the symptoms in the first place. And onto the biggie. Hormone replacement therapy. No, HRT isn't for everyone. It has had a bad rap in the past, but it has moved on in recent times. There are newer body-identical products offering a wider range of choice than just taking old-fashioned tablets. It can take time to find the right HRT option and dosage for you, and it might not be a magic wand. However, for many women whose symptoms seriously impact on their quality of life, taking HRT has enabled them to function again. Contrary to some beliefs, it can be taken long term to reduce symptoms, particularly hot flushes, which can be present for years post-menopause. As an added benefit, HRT has also proven effective in preventing the development of osteoporosis. This is a serious condition where the bones become much more fragile, which currently causes bone fractures in around 50% of women over 50. So if you are finding your symptoms difficult to live with, it may be worth researching the facts about the risks and benefits of HRT to make a balanced decision on whether it is right for you. And if it's not, then that's okay. And so, to self-care during this time and beyond. It can be especially difficult to find space and time for ourselves when we lead such busy lives and are also dealing with the challenges of perimenopause. Our self-care and me time can come in many forms. Some of us may choose time at the gym or spa, a yoga or Pilates class, meditation, or even prayer. At a time when our bodies are out of whack, working towards mind-body balance is essential for our overall well-being. Reconnecting positively with our bodies, rebuilding a loving relationship with ourselves is key to navigating a path through menopause and beyond. I use and teach a well-being method called sophrology, which is a dynamic relaxation practice developed over 60 years ago by a psychiatric doctor in Spain, and is widely used throughout Europe and beyond for mind-body balance and daily self-care. I discovered it in a newspaper article at a time when I wasn't feeling that great myself. I had previously explored mindfulness to help manage past depressive bouts, but it hadn't really hit the spot for me. I got that it worked and was a great help for people, but I still found it so hard to switch off all the anxieties and worries and just relax in the moment. And if something is difficult to do, it's so easy to avoid doing it. Sophrology is a toolbox of simple relaxation techniques and exercises that can be done in a matter of minutes with no special equipment and tailor-made to your needs in the moment. It takes its inspiration from a wide range of practices such as Buddhist meditation and yoga, and is great for people who struggle to quieten their minds in more conventional ways. Sophrology can be used by most people, but I chose to specialise in menopause well-being because women's health is so important to me, and I wanted to share my knowledge and experience with others. My menopause self-care toolbox contains lots of simple yet effective tools tried and tested by women like you. So do you want to learn more about sophrology and maybe try some of these techniques for yourself? In my completely free introductory videos, I will tell you more about how sophrology developed into the amazing toolbox it is today. You will also have the opportunity to try an actual guided relaxation session for yourself. So let's take the first step towards a more empowered menopause journey together.